very, very important in this situation. But as a student of sociology, or from the point of view of sociology, we give emphasis on keep physical distancing, not social distancing, because without social relationship, we could not live comfortably or safely in the society. And my last point is stick to reliable sources. We have to stick to reliable sources, not all sources, especially this type of pandemic situation and uncertainty. I think my time is 10 minutes is gone. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you very much. Now it is to hear from Mr. Sajjad Hussain. Mr. Sajjad Hussain is here? I have written in the chat box, but I did not get any comment. So I assume he is not here. Now I would like to request our foreign colleague.
Yes, I am here, sir. I am here, sir.
Okay. But then please, you entered in the name of Sajjad Swell. That's the problem. Okay.
Yeah,
please, I've also asked in the chat box whether you are present. Please discuss within 10 minutes. Brief. Specific.
Yeah, you are listening. Everybody is listening?
Yes.
Okay. So my discussion is almost covers the other discussions. I'm just want to say that the adverse impacts of COVID-19 pandemic not only resulted in a significant increase in morbidity and mortality worldwide, but also people face numerous challenges that are closely related to the issues of mental health. Some studies show that many people are living with mild to high level of mental health problems due to their job losses, lower social integrity, and recreational opportunities. In many other cases, due to the deaths of their loved one. However, people who experienced mental health problems before and after the COVID-19 affected the most and faced uncertainty in their lives. To date, however, there are no specific recommendations from international bodies addressing the mental health challenges and coping mechanism during this COVID-19 pandemic. Under these circumstances, shall we stop addressing this situation? I think we should not. We must continue spreading the message to educate our people on how to avoid a distressing situation and to stay well. For example, individuals should avoid exposing to media coverage too much to avoid a distressing situation. To maintain a healthy relationship, individual members on a regular interval using social media and start thinking positively. Thirdly, if for any reason coronavirus anxiety shows up, try to show the fear with others. Try to share the fear with others, which will calm the fear, and also try to increase self-awareness by having adequate to support the moral and mental health of frontline healthcare professionals. Healthcare organizations can introduce shorter working hours, regular breaks, and rotating shifts. Besides this, by adopting various lifestyle-related measures, people can cope with their mental health challenges. For example, positive thinking, regular exercise, balanced diet, relaxation exercise, regular daily routine, socialization, obviously online, break from routine work life. And there is something and some information we always got from the internet, YouTubes and others, that when there is a horde, there will not be any coronavirus. When there will be a core, there will be no coronavirus. But with this, we should avoid this kind of myths and these kinds of information and try not to depend on all of this information. So we always follow the authentic information which has been published in peer-reviewed journals or from the authentic government bodies. So thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Now, I would like to request our foreign friend, Mr. Madhav Verma to speak on the issue. Please. He is from Bhutan.
Hello and greetings from Bhutan. I'm basically planning to present what I have experienced in the last few months. I've been teaching analytical skills, and then in that module, I have exposed myself to a very interesting tool, and I thought this is something that is worth sharing. So my presentation is all about how do we use creative problem-solving technique to solve or to create personalized stress management strategies. And I'm also going to give you a sneak peek of a tool which we call a 5Y technique, very useful, very profound, and I've been using it for myself and for my students. So I think we can all start with this interesting quote by Steve Jobs, and I quote, "If you define the problem correctly, you almost have the solution." So for most of the time, when you ask a person who is sad, who is depressed, and who is in anxiety, and if you ask him, most of the time he'll have no clue why he is sad, or why he is depressed, or why he is feeling certain behavior or feelings in him. So that's because we do not invest a lot of time understanding the reasons behind it. And then I thought a creative problem-solving model actually helps you to look at your problems and then create a personalized strategy. So the creative problem-solving techniques was basically designed by Osborne Parnes. And then he's the famous person who designed the brainstorming. So you will see a lot of brainstorming tools and techniques also being used in this model. And then the basic idea behind creative problem solving model is the idea of metacognition, which basically means that you reflect on your own thinking process, you reflect on your own self, you reflect on your own feelings as why you are getting that. So basically, in the creative problem solving process, you look at the three important steps. The first step is basically where you invest your time understanding your problem, then you generate ideas on ways in which you can solve it, and then you look for strategies or you actually make a plan of action to actually help you implement so that you can overcome the problem. And I'm going to take you through all these steps. If you find it's interesting, you can actually use it. So the first thing is the mess finding. So basically in this step, what you do is you basically ask yourself what you are doing and why you are doing. So the first thing is you have to commit yourself that you can help yourself and you want to get out of the mess you are right now in. So if you get that objectives very clear, it will help you ensure that your efforts are focused, and then you'll actually feel motivated that you are actually going to help yourself overcome the situation you are in. Once you have done that to yourself, the second thing that you can do is basically look for the triggers or the fact findings. So you ask yourself, why are you getting these stress, or why do you have the certain feelings in you? So you can ask questions like what is happening, where and when it is happening, is it happening around certain people or in specific situation, and how do you feel about it? So the benefit of this particular step is basically you start asking or looking around yourself the things that actually is triggering those emotions in you. So after this step, you basically will land yourself with certain amount of information, and then you are required to actually find the root cause of the problem. So most of the time, let's say for example, if I have a headache, it may look like a problem, but the cause of the headache is maybe you didn't sleep well, or maybe you have gas, or there's some other problem. So if you know exactly what is causing or triggering those emotions, then you will be able to better solve it. So the second step that you do, the third step that you do is basically find the root cause of the problem. So once you do the root cause of the problem, there are a lot of tools, and this is what I was talking about, the 5Y analysis, which was developed by Sikachi Toyoda. So basically the founder of Toyota Industries, and they still use this amazing tool, very simple. simple to use, anyone can use. So I'm basically going to just give you how to fiber analysis to understand the root cause of the problem. So basically, in the root cause of the problem, what you do is you start by analyzing what exactly is causing that problem. Let's say, for example, you have like why team A is not meeting its response time target. So then you start asking why, like a number of times till you get the root cause of the problem. Now, the key here is you don't answer questions that you don't know, and then you invest. Like, if you have to answer something, just don't answer the first thing that comes to your mind. You have to invest it yourself, looking at the problem, looking at the cause of the problem, and then come up with a reasonable answer. Only then you will be able to analyze the situation that you're dealing with. So let's say, for example, I'm just going to show you how to actually use the 5 why tools. So let's say, for example, I feel stressed at home, right? So then I'll ask myself, why am I stressed at home? So then maybe this can be a possible answer, that I feel stressed because I'm exhausted. Then the next thing I should do is I should ask myself, why am I then exhausted? So then you should ask, like I was exhausted because I was moving back and forth between two tasks and a little of my own work was done. Then you ask yourself, why were you moving back and forth? That means, why were you not focused? And then maybe the response can come that there were a lot of interruption when you were working. And then you can ask, why were there a lot of interruption? Then, that there were interruption because a lot of people came to you for help, and then you just could not say no. And this is the main cause, why do you let people interrupt me? And then you let people interrupt you because you don't want to be rude and you want to be helpful. So now if you analyze the whole situation, you are stressed, but the main cause of the stress is something very different. You just don't want to be rude. You want to help people, so that you allow people to interrupt your work. You allow people to interrupt your work, so then you cannot focus. Because you're not able to focus, you get very little work done, and then you get exhausted. And because you're exhausted, you feel stressed. So this is just a simple tool that will help you actually reach out to the main cause of the problem that you are dealing. I'd suggest you all to actually go and check out this blog, a very interesting blog that I found online. So here you will actually see a lot of information that you can actually do in order to do your own personal reflection. And then they also, I'm not endorsing this, but they have some, it's a paid website. You can also get yourself some counseling help if you want. Once you know that you have found out the root cause of the problem, then what you have to do is you have to actually start looking for ways to overcome that problem. Now, this is the time when you have to be as creative as possible and don't judge the ideas that come to you. And this is also the time when you have to reflect on what you have done in a similar situation in the past, what you have seen others doing in a similar situation in the past. Ask your friends, family, and people you trust for advice. And then I would really request you not to be too judgmental about the ideas that come to you, because sometimes you might find yourself at peace by doing absolutely things that makes no sense. Let's say, for example, like for me, like washing dishes really help. Like whenever I'm stressed, I start washing dishes, I start organizing my place, or I get into some creative assignment. So that actually helps me relieve. But then for you, something else might work. So you have to keep on channelizing your energies to find more creative ways in order to overcome problems. So once you have an idea, you need to translate that idea into a solution that will work. So in this stage, what you do is you basically ask yourself series of questions like, do you think this problem, the solution that you think is realistic, will help you solve the problem? And how will you, feel after you are done using that solution? What are the possible positive and negative consequences of it? And then you, in this particular stage, you also need to look at resources that you have at your disposal. So let's say, for example, singing might help, but you don't have any equipment that will help you sing. So you need to also reflect on resources and then get in contact with people who might help you in this particular step. So once you have a solution that you are sure of, then what you should do is put that solution into a plan of action. This is the most important step. Trust me, most of the people who have problem, they have solution with them only, because every problem is unique. Everybody is struggling their own battle. So the only way you can actually overcome your problem is by putting your plan into action. And then what you do here is you write it down, you bring it down to very detailed, to schedule, and then you can also start looking for things that will actually help you in this process, things that might actually disturb you in this process, so try and get rid of those things. So a very, very important phase. And if you feel that the solution at hand is too big or the problem itself is too big, don't be hard on yourself. You can break your problem into smaller parts and then target one at a time as a challenge. And then once you have started putting your plan into action, which is very good, then is the time you start reflecting on the experiences that you are getting. If you are getting positive experience, then you'll definitely feel motivated. But if in case the solution is not working, don't give up. All you have to do is rewind the whole process and then start looking at what went wrong. Maybe analysis were wrong or the solution didn't make sense. So you might have to tweak it around. So, so this basically is what we call as the problem-solving process of creative analysis, like creative problem-solving process. And I'll leave you all with this small food for thought. So the first thing that we need to all understand is, and because this whole program is being organized by the Entrepreneurship Club, and I think all the entrepreneurs or the people who think like entrepreneurs will connect with this particular quote, and I quote, creative thinkers see opportunities where others see only problem. So this is something that actually helps you overcome your problem. So everywhere there's a problem, it can be your problem, it can be someone else's problem. So if you start looking at problem as an opportunity, a lot of your battle is going to be won. The second thing is, we all must understand that human being problem solving is the talent of every human being. It comes natural to us. We have made all this progress only because of this talent that we all have within us. And then please do remember that we all have got plenty of experience. Please don't think that, oh, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a trained person, I cannot do this. Please don't do that. This is your life. You have a complete charge on yourself. So just remember that you come with a lot of experience right from your birth, when you started walking, when you started crawling, when you started reading, writing, everything that it was a problem that came your way, you found your own solution to it. And I would request you all to actually give a pat on yourself, and then this is something that has worked for me and I hope would work for you all. So that's all for me. Thank you so much for lending me your ears.
Thank you, Mr. Madhav Verma, for your excellent presentation. Now,
Thank you.
I would like to request Professor Irene Akhtar, Madam, to speak, because she worked on this issue. So I would like to hear from her.
Dear Madam, your microphone is off, please. Dear Dr. Irene.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, please, Madam.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Kati Kolikujaman Ahmed sir, Professor Dr. Muhammad Mahbub Ali, and Entrepreneur Economist Club, all presenters, discussants, and all audiences of today's session. So today we are main webinar on the mental well-being and stress management of human being under pandemic situation with uncertainty. So as we are concerned about the pandemic situation, that we need to look at the number which I have collected just today, 12:30 a.m. And under the worldwide, that is confirmed cases is 1,33,78,853. Among them, 5,80,045 death cases. If you look at Bangladesh, confirmed cases is 1,86,894, and death cases is 2,391. That is 1.28%. So my Today's session, my topic is mental well-being of job-seeking students under pandemic situation with uncertainty, study based on Warwick Edinburgh mental well-being skill. Yes, these are the sample which I have taken because as a teacher, I have seen some of my students who supposed to complete their graduation, say March or April, they're waiting. At the same time, those who have completed their education, they're also waiting for their job. If we look at the job market right now, we see that three sectors: local organization, multinational organization, and public organization. And if we compare about the job security, we see that in public and multinational company, job are almost secure. But if you look at the local organization, job are not secure. So lots of people, they are losing their job. And all together, these are creating stress. And that's why you need to look at that. So we talked with the three personnel from the three sectors. One is from former Secretary, Minister of LGRD, SM Ghulam Farooq. And we asked them about their salary structure, pay cut, downsizing. He said that in the government sector there is no. Answer is totally no. And if we look at the HR Unilever Bangladesh, Sarfaraz Jabbar, he also said that in Unilever there is no job cut or pay cut. And at the same time, we talked with the Mustafa Mahmood, head of HR Bongo Bangladesh. He said definitely yes. But that doesn't mean that multinational companies are not going for the downsizing. So it is actually creating the stress and mental disturb in lots of people. Now, I will avoid all the definitions because already I have seen that Dr. Shainujaman, Muhammad Anis Rahman, Shajjat Sohel, they have already discussed on well-being. Now we know that this situation, some of the people, they are describing it as new normal situation, and we are habituated already because we are confined in from 26th of March. We are confined in our home. We are habituated to work from home. We are habituated to go for the session online. And today, this is the result. We are here. And say a few days back, 4 months back, it was totally uncertain. And probably, if anyone asked me, probably I avoided. So, but today there is no way to cope with this situation. So I'm going to say that lots of people, they are given lots of a solution how to cope with the mental situation. Now my audience, my sample is somehow different. So that is actually my objective, to see the students, their well-being, what is their stage, how they are thinking, what are the stress they are facing. So I followed the methodology that is sample, collected data from almost more than 200 students, but some of the students, they didn't fill up the form. That's why only 196 were the workable. And all the information we collected from the Google form, and questionnaire we administered following the Warwick Edinburgh mental well-being skill. And that skill is 14 factors question, and with the 5-point Likert skill, and the small one is 7-point factor, but I used the 14 questions, and the minimum score is 14, maximum score is 70. But the thing is that when one is getting less than 45, it is perceived that they are possibly in the mental disturb, or in the not in good shape, not in good. So if you look at our questionnaire, that is the Warwick Edinburgh 14-factor mental well-being scale, and we see that here the factors: optimism, useful, realize, these are the sum of the factors they have given. So now I'm going to result directly, that is findings. If you look at the findings, you see that is first on average, then the male and female we have compared. So if we look at the 14 factors, only the 2 factors got more than 45 marks out of 70. And that is feeling loved and interested in new things. Yes, we are coping with the new things. We see that our students are doing their courses, Coursera, and they are attending. For example, just a few minutes back, one of my students knocked me into whether, madam, I can here attend the session. So I'm seeing the interest among the people, among the students to attend the session, attend the seminar. So they are interested in new things, cope with the new things, and they're feeling loved because, yes, we are distanced socially, which is already described by Shabdas Sohel. We'll maintain the distance physically, but not the socially. Yes, we are not maintaining the social distance because of the internet. Okay, but the thing is that if you look at the feeling relaxed, now the students, they're not feeling relaxed because always they're feeling stressed. And if we look at the second one, feeling good about oneself, they're not feeling good about their own self, because if we look at these students, some of the students, they're waiting to run their family, because lots of parents, they are giving or selling their property for their son and for their daughter, and they are thinking that after, say, a few months they will earn for their family. But now we are become totally uncertain, and because of that they are also not feeling the cheerful. And rest of the things, that is optimistic, feeling useful, no, it is also less than what should be the average. And these people are totally young people. They should be optimistic, they should be cheerful, but they are not. That is we should be concerned about these people. Now, if we look at the second, that you see that altogether as the 14 factor, 5-point Likert scale, that's why the maximum is 40, minimum is 14. But if you look that 41 to 45 is the cutoff point. If you look at the cutoff point, you see that majority of the students are less than 45, and we have got 40% students are more than 45. Now, why some of the students are less, why some of the students are more? It is the scope for research for again, but we can perceive that those students who are not that much concerned, maybe their parents are rich, maybe they don't need to think about their financial earning. That's why they are not that much concerned. But this number is very less, as these students are using the internet. So some of the students, we see that majority as concerned. Now, if you look at the distribution, yes, it is almost normal distribution because the middle point is 45. But actually, it is not normal if we think about our generation, if we think about our situation. So depending on these findings, if we think there are lots of people, they're giving lots of way to give the solution, that is to connect the people, to take the notice, to keep learning. But actually, when people are under the situation, not earning for the family members, now no definition or no solution will work for them. Yes, if we look at the hierarchy model, when people don't have the food in their home, then if you tell them to connect with the people, to keep learning, actually it will not work. This is very true. So depending on that, I have given some recommendation. I have collected this recommendation from different journal articles and secondary data. But the thing which I think that is, we need to stop seeing the TV. Yes, we have to stop, and we have to take care of ourselves, because every day we are counting, and that is the common to everyone. Even we see that who are working in our home, they are also started to counting. Yesterday the number was that, and today's number. So we have to stop, and we have to be more positive. We have to think about, yes, what is happening? Yes, happening, but definitely the next day will be better. Okay, thank you, everyone. If there is any question.
Thank you, madam, for your excellent presentation. Because last one is I like very much, that we have to stop watching TV. It's a very important, because sometimes TV makes us really make the horror situation. Now it is like to hear from our foreign guest, Dr. Tazin Fohorden, student counselor of RTC Bhutan.
Okay. Good
Great.
morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hello. Can you
Yes,
hear
so,
me?
yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So my name. Okay. So without wasting for much time, I'll be jumping directly to the topic. So I think this is definitely a very confusing and stressful time for all of us, as I think the COVID-19 has affected numerous facets of our society, and it has also impacted every person in a different manner based on their level of threshold towards stress. And this disruption to their daily lives can be seen in different pictures, as people are anxious about the examination, some are worried about their jobs, their financial situations, or how are they going to support their family during this hour. So I think based on the sessions that I've had with my clients, I've observed that it has been a more difficult challenge for people with underlying mental health conditions, more so for people with anxiety disorders. I think they've been consumed with worry and stress. For those with schizophrenia, I think the concern that people are infectious may contribute a lot to the paranoia. And for those with depression, I think this lack of social engagement and disruption in routines can definitely increase a lot of symptoms. And this uncertainty and specific restrictions to COVID-19 has presented a lot of difficulties and challenges. So I was just reading through the other day and through a research article which said that during this hour, there are two strategies for mitigating the symptoms of stress, depression, and that is mainly by promoting social connectiveness and physical activity. I think in this current environment, necessary restrictions such as social distancing, self quarantining, and other measures can definitely make this a huge challenge. So we need to be very intentional about trying to find ways to reduce social isolation during this hour. For example, through virtual meetings, text, messages, or phone call, just trying to get the support from your close and loved ones and maintaining that communication pattern, keeping it alive, and also engaging in regular physical activity. I think a recent research that was conducted by Harvard School of Public Health found out that even if you run for 15 minutes a day or walking for an hour can reduce the symptoms of depression and stress by 26%. So when you exercise, your exercise releases endorphins in your body, and these endorphins get in touch with your brain receptors and trigger positive feelings in your body. And exercise can also definitely reduce the stress hormones and help to elevate your mood. So it's very important to maintain social contact and also keep your physical exercise active, if not outdoor, at least in your indoor spaces. And letting the people around you, normalizing the situation for them and making them aware that it's okay to feel stress and anxiety right now. These are normal reactions. And I think during stress during this time can induce a lot of fear and worry about your own health. It can disturb your sleep or change eating patterns. It can be difficult to concentrate. And I think there can also be elevated use of tobacco and alcohol use, because I've heard a lot of cases, especially for people in quarantine. I think because of the withdrawal symptoms, and they don't have the sources of using substance very easily when they are in mandated quarantine facility. I think the symptoms get the better of them, and most of them tend to escape quarantine. So I think it affects this demographic also hugely. And stress during this time can also change the structure of your brain, where there can be a disbalance between the gray and the white matter in your brain. And I think it's crucial to remember that how a person reacts to stress depends on their background, the social support that they receive from their family, their financial situation, the emotional background, and most importantly, the community that they live in. And people who are more strongly to get affected by stress during such time is people who are at a higher risk for COVID-19, children and teens, frontline workers, people who have existing health conditions, people who are socially isolated, and also people who are experiencing homelessness. And I think things to keep in mind in order to maintain your mental well-being is trying to limit the amount of news that you obtain. It is definitely important to obtain accurate and timely public health information regarding COVID, but trying to ensure that you gain such information from trusted sources only, such as CDC, WHO, or the respective ministries of health in your country, because too much of exposure to media coverage during such time can definitely induce the feelings of fear and anxiety. So it's important to balance the time that you spend on your news and social media with other activities such as reading, listening, or something that you like to engage in, and also trying to avoid focusing too much on COVID-19 news, and also trying to focus on the highlights, such as focusing on the helpers, the positive stories, the recovery rate. And the other thing is also trying to promote gratitude during this difficult time, starting to practice gratitude, identifying something that you're grateful for. And to cite an example, there was this political prisoner who was imprisoned for 36 years in his country, and out of this 36 years, 12 years he was in solitary confinement. And what he said during his talk was that practicing gratitude and waking up every day and trying to figure out, even though there's nothing to look forward to in his life, trying to figure out just being grateful that he's alive, that really helped him get through those 12 years of confinement. So I think trying to look for something that you're grateful for each passing day as well is something that you can use. And moving on, also trying to inculcate mindful breathing into your practice. I think that is also, it's a very aidful tool to help regulate emotions and manage stress. And if you, as educators and leaders in educational institutions or any other organization, if you know that your students or someone around you is experiencing mental health concern, and just your therapies and techniques or the skills that you've been using is not working, it's very important to refer them to professional help and appropriate sources where they can get help from the appropriate sources. And also sometimes just reminding yourself that it's okay to let go of the expectation of the normal. I think once a week or twice a week, sometimes it's okay to forget the routine and just indulge in self-care practice, and trying to just be in the moment and figuring out what is actually important to me, and not feeling guilty for not following a specific routine, but just engaging in what you want to actually do today. And I think that it's important to remember that the truth about change is that the faster we let go of our expectations of the normal, the faster we adapt. So trying to put that into practice. And also trying to have a regular schedule if possible during this COVID-19 time, because when we don't have much to do behaviorally, I think that creates a vacuum in our mind and we tend to overthink a lot. And when you overthink a lot, I think a lot of feelings come up, mixed emotions or feeling guilty, feeling a lot of regrets, constant fear and worry. So it's important to have a regular schedule maintained. And even when you're anxious and stressful about this uncertainty, trying to ask yourself, what is it that I can control in this situation? Am I unnecessarily worrying about the worst thing that can happen? So when I have stressed in the past, how have I regulated my stress? Or what are the things I can do in this situation to try to be positive? So, and the other thing is also trying to get a good night's sleep. I think stress can result in a lot of sleep difficulties. I've had a lot of clients complaining about sleep difficulties. So when you suffer from lack of sleep, I think it can definitely elevate your stress. So sleep deprivation makes parts of the brain that handle higher order functions work less. So it's important to have healthy sleeping habits. And while we may not wish to acknowledge it at times, uncertainty is definitely a natural process of life and something that is that is unavoidable. So very little about our lives is actually very constant, and that is in our control. So as the COVID-19 has definitely shown how life can change very quickly, so it's important to remember that to cope with all this uncertainty, using worrying as a tool is not always a positive reinforcer, because sometimes we indulge into chronic worrying, thinking that if you worry or think about the situation more, we tend to have more control over the uncontrollable events, but it just robs you of the present moment. So it's important to realize or important to cope, important to practice healthier ways of coping, such as, like I already mentioned, focusing on controlling things that are in your control. For example, if a person has lost his job, trying to focus on the little thing he still has control over, like putting working on his resume, putting a search online. So what is the thing that I can actually control in this situation? So if you're worried about your health during this COVID-19 pandemic time, what is it that I can do to protect my health? Is it washing my hands, cleaning the surfaces, wearing my mask on? So some of the things that you actually have control over. And when irrational fears and worries take hold, it can be definitely very hard to think logically and accurately, weigh up accurately. So I think, like Madhav sir mentioned earlier, identifying what are your uncertainty triggers. So a lot of uncertainty tends to be self-generated through excessive worrying. So for example, however, some uncertainty can be generated through external sources as well. Like I said earlier, reading media stories that focus on worst case scenarios, spending time on social media among rumors and half truths. So I think these are something that can fuel your own fears and uncertainty. So it's important to recognize your triggers and to take action in order to avoid or reduce your exposure to them, and allowing yourself to feel the uncertainty as well. And instead of engaging in futile efforts to gain control over this uncontrollable situation, letting yourself experience the discomfort of uncertainty. Like all emotions, if you allow yourself to feel fear and uncertainty, I think this will definitely pass. But being accepting of your feeling and what am I exactly going through right now, and focusing on the present moment, your breathing, allowing yourself to just simply feel and observe this experience. And the other thing is trying to shift your attention. So when your mind wanders back to worrying or the feelings of uncertainty return, trying to refocus your mind on the present moment and practicing mindfulness and regulating your mindful breathing. And I think also, like earlier, like I mentioned, some of the tools to reduce or deal with your anxiety and stress, putting that or inculcating that into practice. And definitely, as again, to cite Madhav sir, like he mentioned that we all have ways. So
Now, I would like to request Professor Dr. Subroto Chattopadhyay from India to speak for 10 minutes. Dr. Tandil left. Probably there is technical difficulty. Now it is time to hear from Professor Dr. Subroto Chattopadhyay for 10 minutes only, sir.
Thank you so much, respected Professor Mohammad Mehmood Ali, and it is on your invitation that I have been given this opportunity to present my thoughts on the topic of mental well-being and stress during uncertainty caused by the pandemic. So, at the outset, my sincere regards and respect to respected chairperson sir, respected chairman sir, Professor Kholikujaman Ahmed, and all the respected professors and dignitaries from Dhaka University, Dhaka School of Economics, and all across the world. Right. So let us straight away come to the topic because I have 10 minutes of time. So when we talk about mental stress, right? First of all, let me say something that given a particular situation, there are two ways that we respond. One is we act, the other is we react. And most of us do the second thing, that is we react to the situation. And that is the reason we view or we think that something, whenever we are led into some sort of an uncertainty, then that is a problem situation. But successful are those people in life who take this problem and this uncertainty in their stride and think from where they can create an opportunity so that becomes a sustainable situation for them to live. So the thing is that in the last few months that we have witnessed pandemic, we have seen how different countries and different people in those nations, and also the different businesses, they have suffered a lot because of this pandemic situation. But we were forced to work from home. And let me in this regard share with you a small story, if I am permitted, right? And this is a true story. So what happened is that our homes has been transformed into virtual offices, and all of us are huddled in our home, and we have to balance between our personal life and our professional life. So that is the first challenge that we had to face. And what happened is that there was a middle level manager who was doing his regular meetings with his top management, and the grandma wanted to ask him for some emergency household chore, and he said that I am busy in a meeting, so how can I attend to you? So then the grandma said that I want to talk to your top management and request him to leave you for 2 minutes. Then he said, no, it is not possible. So all this while he was not very aware, his microphone was on. So the management, the top management person who were there in the meeting, they said, okay, let us hear your grandma, what she had to say. And then she just came in and said that, see, we are sacrificing our privacy at home and allowing your staff, who happens to be our relative, right, our kin, our nearest kin, to attend the office. But you have to also take care that there are emergency calls at the house also to attend. So please allow these small interruptions if possible. And the management understood that. And hence, he was allowed to attend to his family emergency and then come back to the meeting. So the essence of the story is that in the past few months, we have all witnessed a lot of stress. So home was not that sweet home that used to be maybe a few months back. Now we are troubled that we are staying at home. In fact, today that I am speaking to you, I am in my university, right? So I thought that I should come to my university and address you the session, because if I am at home, I have a 5.5-year-old kid, right, who may come in between and say that, Papa, what is happening? Let me also see you speak, right? So I thought that let me sit in the comfort of my university room and address you all. So we have been troubled. We have witnessed all this pandemic situation, but and we have been attending to sessions and also meetings, right? And what happened is the normal work-life balance is not there. The holidays have gone for a toss. So we have forgotten, what is a weekend, because every day is a working day. And, yesterday what happened is, I'm arranging a conference. So it will be in February. And, there was a professor from Mexico who, accepted my invitation to be a reviewer on the editorial board. Right? I sent the message to my HOD. You know what? At 11 in the night, he replies me with no appreciation of that and says, we need to prepare the placement brochure. Now, you see, 11 in the night, he says, you need to prepare the placement brochure, which means that we have perhaps forgotten the essence of work time and personal time. So that is the main reason why we are into so much of stress. So we are overburdened perhaps, and all these is basically in our mentality. Whatever our attitude is, how we perceive things. If we take all these, that these are causing stress to us, and if we think about it more, then possibly we will be more overburdened and the stress would increase. But if we accept this as a new normal and carry life forward, adjusting, accommodating, and adapting to the same, then perhaps our life would be much better. And also, imagine the amount of, learning and the knowledge that we have gained in the past few months. I am sure, most of us have, utilized this time towards enriching our knowledge, our values, and our, experiences. And we can surely utilize the same, in the future for our research, for our teaching, for, our activities. So a lot of corporates have got a lot of respite in this pandemic situation towards learning new courses, towards enriching their knowledge and increasing their share of experience in whatever field that they're in. So all these have added value. So the thing is that whenever we are into any crisis, we have to take the positive out of it and not think about the negatives. Because the more we think about the negatives, the more we will be stressed and the more we will be burdened. And our mental health and physical health will be affected because of that. With that, I would like to stop. Thank you so much once again to all of you for giving me this opportunity and international exposure with so many dignitaries of high repute to whom I am speaking. Thank you so very much. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir. It's wonderful to hear your speech. Now it is. I would like to request Professor Abdullah Abu Said Khan to speak. Time is 10 minutes.
Hello.
Yes.
Do you hear me?
Yes. Okay, go on.
Okay, thank you. My hearty greetings to all. I feel honored to be here with you in this session. Before going actual start, I would like to thank here honorable chief guest, distinguished guest speakers, and participants from different domains in the globe, and especially my heartfelt thanks to coordinator and chair of this program and great endeavor today. So now I can take privilege to speak Bengali, though this program is bilingual. We have time constraint. যদিও করোনাকালীন এই সময়ে এর সামাজিক এবং মনস্তাত্ত্বিক প্রভাব নিয়ে এই স্বল্প সময়ে কিছু বলা একটি চ্যালেঞ্জিং বিষয়। সময়ের প্রেক্ষিতে আমরা বলতে পারি করোনা একটি হার্ট ব্রেকিং গ্লোবাল ইস্যু। এটি একটি নিউ সোশ্যাল ফেনোমেনা তৈরি করেছে এবং কোভিড-19 গ্লোবালি একটি নিউ চ্যাপ্টার ওপেন করেছে আমাদের সামনে, যেখানে মানবতা, বিজ্ঞান ও প্রযুক্তি দৃশ্যত এক ধরনের অসহায়তার মধ্যে পড়েছে। বর্তমান সিচুয়েশনকে আমরা বাংলাদেশের প্রেক্ষিতে বলতে পারি করোনার সাথে বসবাস, যেখানে এদেশের মানুষ ঝড়, বন্যা, জলোচ্ছ্বাস ও বিভিন্ন দুর্যোগে জীবন জীবিকায় অ্যাডাপ্ট করে বা অভ্যস্ত হয়ে পড়েছে। কোভিড-19 আউটব্রেক বা প্রাদুর্ভাব এর প্রধানত দুটি দিক রয়েছে বলে আমি মনে করি। প্রথমত বায়োলজিক্যাল বা বায়ো এনভায়রনমেন্টাল, যেখানে ফিজিক্যাল এবং মেডিকেলের বিষয়গুলো সম্পৃক্ত। অন্যটি বায়োসোশ্যাল, যেখানে সাইকোসোশ্যাল, ইকোনমিক্যাল এবং অন্যান্য যে ব্যবস্থাপনা সংক্রান্ত বিষয় রয়েছে, যেমন হেলথ ম্যানেজমেন্ট, সামাজিক ব্যবস্থাপনা একটি অন্যতম অংশ। পাশাপাশি পিপলস ভালনারেবিলিটি যেখানে নারী পুরুষ শিশু সহ অন্যান্য সামাজিক ঝুঁকিপূর্ণ দিকগুলো রয়েছে, যার সাথে সামাজিক বৈষম্য অসমতা সম্পৃক্ত। আমরা একটি পুঁজিবাদী শিল্পকেন্দ্রিক হেটেরোজেনাস সোসাইটিতে আছি, যেখানে সামাজিক বৈষম্য অসমতা দারিদ্রতা একটি কন্টিনিউয়াল ফেনোমেনন। প্রাসঙ্গিকভাবে চলমান সংকটের সাথে মানবিক সংঘাত, জলবায়ু পরিবর্তন, ভঙ্গুর খাদ্য ও স্বাস্থ্য ব্যবস্থাপনা এই করোনাকালীন ক্রাইসিসকে আরো একটি বিপর্যস্ত ও এক ধরনের সামাজিক চ্যালেঞ্জের সম্মুখীন করেছে। এই হোল ম্যানেজমেন্টের জায়গায় ট্রেডিশনাল নলেজ, বিহেভিয়ার, সোশ্যাল স্টিগমা ও রিউমার এক ধরনের সোশ্যাল ভালনারেবিলিটি তৈরি করেছে, যেখানে কোমরবিডিটি বা সামাজিক স্বাস্থ্যকে করোনাকালীন সময়ে ঝুঁকির মধ্যে ফেলেছে। নিউ সোশিও ইকোনমিক ওয়ার্ল্ড অর্ডারও আমরা দেখছি তৈরি হচ্ছে। আমরা আসলে যে সোসাইটিতে আছি সেটি হলো একটি কম্পোজিট ইউনিট বা থিম, যারা সমাজ নিয়ে চিন্তা করে, সমাজ বিজ্ঞানীদের কাজ হলো একটি সামাজিক ঘটনাকে আরেকটি সামাজিক ঘটনা দ্বারা ব্যাখ্যা করা, বিশ্লেষণ করা এবং তাদের মধ্যে একটি কার্যকারণ সম্পর্ক খুঁজে দেখা। অর্থাৎ ফ্যাক্ট শুড বি এক্সপ্লেইন থ্রু অ্যানাদার ফ্যাক্ট, যাকে ফ্রেঞ্চ সোশিওলজিস্ট ইমানুয়েল ডুরখাইম বলেছেন সোশ্যাল রিয়েলিটি। মিশেল ফোকো এই ক্ষেত্রে বলেছেন যে রিয়েলিটি ইজ অলওয়েজ এভলভিং, অর্থাৎ এই বাস্তবতা সমাজের গর্ভেই উচ্চারিত হয়, যে বাস্তবতার মধ্যে আমরা এখন বসবাস করছি। এবং আমাদের যারা প্রেসিডেন্ট বক্তা ছিলেন তারা কিন্তু এই বিষয়গুলোকে আলোকপাত করেছেন। মানুষও সামাজিক গ্যালারি, এখানে একজনের পরিণতি ফলাফল অন্যকে ভোগ করতে হয়। এই করোনাকালীন সময়ে আমরা এক ধরনের রিয়ালিটি ও প্যারাডক্সের মধ্য দিয়ে অতিবাহিত করছি। আমরা ধীরে ধীরে একটি রিফ্লেক্সিভ এবং রিস্ক সোসাইটিতে প্রবেশ করছি, যেখানে সোশ্যাল ট্রান্সফরমেশন এবং চেঞ্জ ভেরি আনপ্রেডিক্টেবল ডিউ টু নিউ সায়েন্স, ইনোভেশন অ্যান্ড টেকনোলজি। অ্যান্থনি গিডেন্স উনি তার একটি বইতে উল্লেখ করেছেন যে আমরা একটি মুক্ত ও নিয়ন্ত্রণহীন সমাজ ব্যবস্থা পদার্পণ করেছি, যেখানে মানুষের আচার আচরণ ব্যক্তি চয়েসে পরিণত হয়েছে, যার প্রতিফলন এই করোনাকালীন সময় আমরা দেখছি। করোনা ক্রাইসিস সমাজের অনেক দুর্বলতা ও বাস্তবতাকে আমাদের চোখের সামনে নিয়ে এসেছে। মেন্টাল স্ট্রেসের পাশাপাশি ইকোনমিক অ্যান্ড নন ইকোনমিক লসেস অ্যান্ড ড্যামেজেস তৈরি করেছে। ডিপ্রেশন ও ইকোনমিক ক্রাইসিসের ফলে সামাজিক, পারিবারিক ও মানবিক বিপর্যয় ঘটছে, যা অনেক ক্ষেত্রে দৃশ্যমান এবং গ্রহণযোগ্য মেজারমেন্ট আমাদের করা সম্ভব হয়ে পড়ে না এবং আমরা করতে পারি না। করোনা প্রভাব বিভিন্ন সামাজিক প্রতিষ্ঠান সমূহ তথা এডুকেশন, এখানে শিক্ষক শিক্ষার্থীর উপর এক ধরনের মনোগত প্রভাব পড়েছে। তাছাড়া খাদ্য নিরাপত্তা বা ফুড ক্রাইসিস, মেডিকেল ট্রিটমেন্ট বা সার্ভিস, রিক্রিয়েশন, আনএমপ্লয়মেন্ট, ডিসক্রিমিনেশন মানুষের মন ও আচরণের উপরে এক নিদারুণ প্রভাব ফেলেছে, এক ধরনের অবসাদ তৈরি করেছে। বিষণ্ণতা ও মানসিক স্ট্রেসের ফলে পারিবারিক কলহ ও আত্মহত্যার মতো ঘটনা ঘটছে। আমরা যদি রিসেন্ট পাস্ট দেখি যে বাংলাদেশ এবং যে নেবার কান্ট্রিজ আছে অ্যাক্রস দ্য গ্লোব, বিভিন্ন জায়গায় আত্মহত্যার ঘটনা ঘটছে এবং সেটি ফিল্ম ইন্ডাস্ট্রি থেকে সাধারণ যে পারিবারিক পর্যায়ে রয়েছে, বিভিন্ন সোশ্যাল ইনস্টিটিউশন রয়েছে, সেখানেও এক ধরনের নৈরাজ্যকর অস্থিরতা, এক ধরনের সামাজিক অস্থিরতা এখানে বিরাজমান। সম্প্রতি ব্রেইন বিহেভিয়ার ইমিউনিটি জার্নালে প্রকাশিত একটি প্রবন্ধে বলা হয়েছে কোভিড-19 কারণে ভারত, বাংলাদেশ।
Now, all of a sudden, Abdullah Busad Khan left. Now we will hear from Professor Dr. Firuz Ahmed Khan, who is eminent physician. Please, in English, you will speak, please.
Thank you. Do you hear me?
Yes, yes, excellent.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Mahbub Ali. And as a physician, I want to thank you all to select this type of topics that is mental well-being, and management of stress in this COVID pandemic. There are three things. Number one, mental well-being. Number two, the stress and the COVID. Previous speaker, Mr. Professor Shainujaman, he presented very nicely. He gave a definition of mental health, mental well-being, and stress and stressor. Actually, mental health is the health which reflects or affect our thinking, feeling, and day-to-day activity. Those who have a good mental health, they can cope with the stress better way than who has a less well-being or any problem with the mental well-being. So, at present, this is only in COVID situation. I want to be confined in COVID and stress. In present world, everywhere, the WHO is telling that 300 million people has been suffering from panic and anxiety disorder. Panic and anxiety disorder in this COVID pandemic, 300 million. So, if you say, what are the reasons of this mental or well-being or stress? Number one, I want to mention in by points. If I see as a physician, I will know that rapid spread of the virus and loss of life of thousands and lakhs, millions of people, and getting afraid of being infected by the virus, or someone is losing their loved ones. And in Bangladesh, the stress is more because there is uncertainty in getting any medical treatment. People are very much frustrated about where to do the test, whether the test is correct, because nowadays we are seeing everywhere in the newspaper, the false tests are giving to the people and this and that. So these all the things, mismanagement in the health sector and a fear of getting affected, losing people, getting news. These are the things directly related to the stress and anxiety of the people in this COVID pandemic. Number two, excessive social media humor. Because now we are very much relaxing, sitting in the home, and we are passing our more time in the internet and seeing in the social media and getting more and more tense and anxious. And excessive media coverage in newspaper and TV. I will tell it later on how to improve this situation. Besides this direct factor, there are some other factors which our previous speaker mentioned also. But by point, economic crisis of the family. Nowadays, from top businessman to the lowest rickshaw puller, everybody is in crisis in their family. Some are losing their jobs. Some are going to lose their jobs. So these all the things will increase the tension and anxiety in the people. So this, as a doctor, what we are getting in patients we are getting, they are coming to us with anxiety-related behavior. Anxiety-related behavior means he is irritated at home and he responds a totally different way to certain problem in his home. He is depressed. He cannot sleep at night. And lot of people have suicidal tendency. You know, in Bangladesh, one police constable, when he get that, he informed that he is COVID positive, he just jumped from the 5th floor and gets suicide, died. One young boy in Chittagong, he also jumped and suicide after getting positive result. This is reality. People are so panicked with this COVID that whenever they're getting positive, there are a lot of problem in the social stigma and social disturbances. They may be isolated. fear, anxiety, whole family. So these are the things people are getting stressed in this COVID, but it depends. There are a lot of, in our family, we have old people, we have wife, husband, children, teenagers. There are classes of people in our family. Everybody is not affected same way. Everybody has their different uh, expression of this stress. Suppose the old man having lot of comorbidity. He was under follow-up of doctors, getting medicines, but now he cannot get regular follow-up in the hospital, so he stands, and lot of news is coming in the paper. After getting positive, the sons throw the parents in the jungle, in the forest, and leave. These are the bad things, so they are getting panic. A man who is running the family, he is in crisis, so he is more vulnerable. And the personal relationship issue is rising in the family nowadays. And there is more domestic violence, everywhere. It is being reported all over the world even. It is being reported. So how to overcome the stress? As a part of physician, I think it is not a person who think that I will not face any stress, I will be live like this, I will think like this, and he will be cured. No, not possible. This stress in COVID is related to the pandemicity of the disease and the death of the people. So there are a lot of people. I can categorize it in three ways. A government has to play an important role in relieving the stress of the people sitting at home. Number two, a media has important role to release the stress of the people sitting at home, and we can give as a physician some advice to the person concerned how to cope with the stress in better way. So a person can cope. Our previous speakers already mentioned that a person should know better about the disease. If you know something better way, you will be less panic about that thing. And he should get the information from, as our previous speaker told, from trusted source, not from the Facebook, not from the social media, not from the rumors. It will give him more panic. Number two, the trusted site should be WHO. And WHO already mentioned that don't go to see the news more than once a day. You have to be updated every day, but don't go to see the news more than a day. Number three, avoid social media and healthy lifestyle. You have to sleep well, you have to eat well, and you have to do mild exercise. And another thing, you are sitting at home, so you have to talk to your friends, talk to your relatives over online, WhatsApp, normal telephone, mobile for long time, whole day. Take care of your neighbors, call them, discuss them, but don't talk to the person who will give you more negative news and who will make you more stress. Talk to a person who can give you some positive thinking, who can assure you some better way, not to a negative person. And from frustration, if a man is not mentally well-being, is not mentally perfect, he may try to get relief of the anxiety or stress by coping other habits like alcohol. People are trying to get more alcohol, more drugs to sleep at night, or he can increase the smoking. These are all not the solution. But more important thing is what I want to tell, that government has some role to play to reduce the stress of the people, because people are stressed and anxious and panic because of the COVID. I'm not telling about panic disorder for any other reason of the family problem. I'm telling only about the COVID. Until and unless this pandemicity is not being controlled, people will be panic, remain in the panic. So, government has to try to control the disease. Whatever thing he has to do it timely and perfectly. There are a lot of problem in health sector coming out in the newspapers nowadays. Suppose the test was given negative 15 to 20,000 people. This is a panic of a people. They are not trust the hospitals now. They are afraid of going to the people to whom we will go now. This is a totally people are afraid of the health system of Bangladesh. So there are a lot of corruption, lot of coming out every day, and there is no action. You are catching one people, two people. So government has to do something so that people will get back their trust on the health sector, and they can reduce stress that yes, we have facility in the Bangladesh, we have some other hospital to go and get treated if I am getting infected. This is very important thing. Number two, in this economic crisis, government is trying to help. Government has started giving food. Government has started giving cash money by the telephone number. But there I found, we all know, a lot of corruption is going on, and the government should be very strict. Government is telling zero tolerance to the health sector corruption and other corruption. These are the things which should be not only on interview of the TV. Actually, they have to prove it. They are not supporting any type of corruption in this country. Another is media. You know, everybody, speaker told before that media, if you open the TV, you will listen every day, there is some problem and problem and problem. Excessive coverage in the media. So that coverage will all related to the disease and health and problem and negative news. What I am telling you, you will see, we know that one child, he dropped his mother in the forest. We know that lot of wife after getting infected, they have been removed from the house and they are not getting even settled in their brother's house also. And they are sitting in the street. We know the news. These are the news. Okay, it happened in Bangladesh, but there are lots of positive news also. I know some young girl. He stayed with the father, COVID positive, in the ward. Then in the ICU, he stayed with the father in the ICU, and after cure, she left the ICU with the father. Everyone was astonished. I know one sister. She stayed with the brother, younger brother, autistic, in the ICU even, getting infected. Both lying in the same room. Both get cured. So there are a lot of positive things also. But media will always discussing, giving importance to the negative news, not to the positive news. There should be a program. You know, just now our one speaker, he mentioned that nearly 186,000 people infected, only 24,000 people died, and more than 1 lakh people killed. So, if the media will arrange a program of COVID winners, those who have win the COVID, they can arrange a story program of each of them in the media. Why they are bringing corrupt people, those who are now Shahid-like people, and getting a debate and a lot of discussion, and ultimately found that these people who are telling the very good things, they are corrupt. So these things will give a negative impact on the people. People will be more frustrated than those who are telling in the TV very good things, that I am telling very good things and I am doing corruption in my private practice. This is illegal. If people come to know that this man is talking in the TV is a corrupt man, then whole people will get frustrated from the media. So media should arrange lot of They should amplify the hopeful stories more and more. They should arrange this type of mental health program, how to face the mental health program. They should arrange lot of positive history about the people working in the hospital. Yes, I know there are a lot of corruption in the health sector or everywhere in the people. But there are also doctors personally, they are working in the COVID hospital. You know? Doctors are personally working in the COVID hospital. I heard one message from the, Amitabh Bachchan. He was getting infected and he is in Ralavati hospital. He get a message like this. In Gujarat, there is a billboard. In the billboard, it was written, you know why the mandir is closed? Because the Bhagwan is in the hospital wearing a white coat, serving the COVID patients. Amitabh Bachchan like man, if he tell like this, people will get trusted on the hospital and the doctors. Lot of things are here. I know a lot of things going on here, but you have to support the people who are working in the hospital. It will give a positive effect to the whole people. Depression will be less. If you give more and more negative report about the health, people will be more and more frustrated, more and more tense, and more anxious, and they will be suffering. Nobody can improve their stress without improving the image of the health sector, health service in Bangladesh. So I want to thank you all. Actually, Mahubali, who requested me to be here. I am a physician, I am not economist, and my point of view is actually on the treatment purpose, because I am seeing maximum patient. I am doing private practice still. I did not stop my practice because I feel that doctors should be in the field during a war. I am doing my private practice, Mahubali knows. And I see maximum patient is panic. Just they have throat problem, nothing. They are thinking they have some problem in the throat. Actually, they don't have any problem. This is a panic behavior. So, my request, I hope, we will overcome the situation and we can fight this COVID and we can overcome, and we should give more importance to the mental health, not only physical health. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Excellent discussion by our special guest. Now, I would like to request for 1 minute, Professor Abdul Abu Said Khan to speak in English.
Okay, thanks for giving me opportunity once again, and I am sorry due to interruption of network. Just I was out of the screen. Again, I got the opportunity. So that point I was in that point. The report of brain behavior and immunity journal in COVID-19. যেখানে বলা হয়েছে যে ভারত, বাংলাদেশ, সৌদি আরব, ইউএসএ এবং ইটালি, ব্রিটেন সহ অন্যান্য দেশে যে আইসোলেশন বা সামাজিক যে দূরত্ব আমরা বলছি, দিস ইজ সোশ্যাল ডিস্টেন্সিং, যার কারণে এক ধরনের মেন্টাল ডিসঅর্ডার এবং ডিপ্রেশন তৈরি হচ্ছে এবং মানুষের মধ্যে অ্যাংজাইটি, ক্ষোভ, রাগ বা বিরক্তি, পারিবারিক যে সামাজিক অস্থিরতা রয়েছে সেগুলো আত্মহত্যার প্রবণতা বাড়াচ্ছে। অ্যালং উইথ দিস সিমিলার রিপোর্ট অক্সফ্যাম তাদের একটি রিপোর্ট তারা বলছেন দ্য হাঙ্গার ভাইরাসে যে করোনাতে বেশি মারা যাবে হয়তো ক্ষুধায়, যেটা একটা এক ধরনের প্রেডিকশন। তো আমি পরিশেষে বলতে চাই, আই উইল টেক জাস্ট 1 more minute. No health without mental health. No health without social health. অমর্ত্য সেনের ভাষায় করোনা আমাদের সমাজ ব্যবস্থাকে আরো উন্নত করতে পারে এবং আমাদের যে সমাজের গণতান্ত্রিক ও মানবিক যে চর্চা আছে সেটাকে বাড়াতে হবে এবং আমাদের যে সামাজিক আন্দোলনের মাধ্যমে আমাদের যে সোশ্যাল করাপশন রয়েছে, সামাজিক যে অস্থিরতা রয়েছে সেগুলোকে সংস্কার করতে হবে, প্রশাসনিক ব্যবস্থাকে সংস্কার করতে হবে, এগুলোকে নিয়ন্ত্রণ করতে হবে এবং জিডিপি কেন্দ্রিক যে উন্নয়ন সেখান থেকে সরে এসে আমাদের সামাজিক যে ইনস্টিটিউশন বা সামাজিক যে উন্নয়ন আছে সেখানে আমাদের ইয়ে করতে হবে, আমাদের কনসেন্ট্রেট করতে হবে। এবং প্রেজেন্ট যে সিচুয়েশন, এটাকে আমি বলবো যে দিস সিচুয়েশন ইজ লাইক সোশ্যাল প্যাথোলজি, মানে উই শ্যাল ওভারকাম। দ্যাটস ওয়াই উই নিড দ্য সোশ্যাল মুভমেন্ট অ্যান্ড সোশ্যাল কনসাসনেস। Thanks to all. Thanks for keeping the patience. Thanks to hear me.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Said. Now, I would like to request Professor Dr. Mohammad Monirul Islam, Dean Business Administration, Trust. Please, Professor Dr. Monirul Islam. Microphone should be switched off. Our last speaker and special guest, Professor Mohammad Monirul Islam. Are you here? Can you hear me, please, Professor Mohammad Monirul Islam? Yes. Professor Mohammad Monirul Islam, can you hear me? Professor Mohammad Monirul Islam. I would like to request Professor Mohammad Monirul Islam to speak. If he is not here, then I would like to request Mrs. Rehana Parveen to speak and wrap up for 5 minutes for the discussion before we go to the chief guest. In the meantime, if we get the Professor Monirul Islam, then we will again hear from him. Please, Mrs. Rehana Parveen.
Thank you, sir, for giving me this opportunity. Today's topic is on mental health and human stress management in the pandemic period. And the human stresses, those who are very common now, is lockdown. It is boring. We cannot go outside. Or unemployment problem. Our total society is in very risk. Or how do I save my children's or family members, other family members from coronavirus? These are the common stress factor of ours. And for getting relief from these stress factors or corona anxieties or depression or sadness, today's speakers, presenters, and special guests, and also keynote speakers, all of the team or all of the platform of this today's webinar discussed many types of techniques, strategies, and many points with which we can reduce our stress, with which we can relieve our mind, from which we can can take the stress relief or stressless sleep in night. We are eagerly waiting for for hearing the speech from our chief guest, our honorable chairman, sir. Now I don't want to take a long time because our time is very constrained. So thank you from my side.
Thank you, Mrs. Parveen. Now I would like to request our chief guest, eminent economist of Bangladesh, Professor Dr. Kazi Kholiquzzaman Ahmed sir, to say.
Thank you, Mahbub. Let me thank all the speakers. We have an array of very excellent presentations, and I don't, as I said at the beginning, I'm not an expert on this particular issue, and therefore I may not have much to say. But one of the things that has been discussed is, our topic is first of all mental well-being and stress management under COVID-19 situation. How stressful it is, that has been discussed. because it is impacting on health, life, economy, education, all sectors of life, human life as a whole. And there was no other pandemic which has affected the whole world before. Although there were pandemics like Asian flu and Spanish flu, which killed millions of people, but those were concentrated in certain areas of the world, not all the countries of the world. Now we have 213 countries and regions. Everywhere there is this pandemic. Some countries have managed better than others. Now, few countries are doing very poorly, including the United States, Brazil, South Africa, India, and I'm not very sure how we are doing in Bangladesh. From the proportion of the people tested being infected, it seems we are not doing very well. But one good thing is that in our shanty areas, the Bosties, I don't know why, maybe our doctor would know, this pandemic has not gone into there. Otherwise, millions of people would have been killed. So that is one thing. Maybe they have some kind of immunity because they live under stress anyway. Mosquitoes, bites, and the environmental stress and all of that. Maybe they have developed some kind of immunity. So eventually, of course, we will probably have vaccine, or we will develop immunity so that we can live normal life. But the life will never be normal again. The normal that we know, that normal has gone. We'll have a new normal. And what are the characteristics of the new normal? We don't know it right now. But it will perhaps be more like this, meeting virtually rather than physically, and maybe more isolation, and an isolationist attitude may develop. But we'll have to then cope with it, whatever is the situation. But we need to recover from the position that we are in. It's economic recovery, social recovery, it's health recovery, it's environmental recovery. We need all kinds of recovery so that we can again see that the world moves forward in terms of economic development, in terms of participation in the economic process, in terms of environmental protection, and in terms of social development. I wrote an article early on saying that like Amartya Sen, before Amartya Sen said it, I wrote it, that Corona has given us an opportunity because it does not distinguish between rich and poor, high and mighty, and the lowly. It attacks everybody. Whoever it finds, it attacks. And therefore, it has brought to us, again, that all human beings are equal as human beings. So that perhaps would come back to us, and we'll have a better society where all the things that were being talked here, that will better manage our affairs, and everybody will be included in the process of social development, economic development, and so on. But then I have moved away from that position now. Now I have written another article saying that this is not going to happen. And it's not going to happen as you all have been discussing. See around the world, see about the United States, there is this stress. The federal government wants to open up, and the reality is such that the local governments don't want to. That stress is there in other countries also. Brazil, the president didn't recognize that there was a pandemic. Now he has been affected himself. In Bangladesh, probably we were a bit late, but we recognize that this is a serious situation. And therefore, there are efforts being mounted by Dr. here and others to try and control it, but it has been mentioned that the government has a very, very, very huge responsibility. Government should rise to the occasion. But here there is who is government? That's a big question. The Prime Minister announced a package on 13 April, huge package, about 1 lakh crore taka. And I think that was absolutely right. And the emphasis given on sectors, absolutely right. Also, she outlined 3 areas which should be given high priority. Number 1 is health, life. Second is social security, and third is agriculture. So everything was there, but we are not getting most of the things done on the ground. So those who are responsible to implement, they are not doing their job properly. And they are not all of them, some of them are being brought to justice. I had another theory which has proven wrong. I thought, and I wrote many times, that if people are punished for their sins, others will not go that way. But it seems that's not quite correct now, because it has become something of our nature, our character, that we would like to be self-centered. We want I and not we, each other. There is a saying, I am because we are. We don't accept that. I am because I am. And that's what is happening, and that's what we see all around. Now, coming to this mental, I talked all about that because I don't know anything about what you have been talking about. Let me describe my situation a bit. I'm close to 80. And I confined myself from 10th of March because I had with a fever, so I started early. So it's 4 months and 7 days. And in this period, early on, 16th of March and 19th of March, I went out for 2 or 3 hours each. And then 10th of May again for 2-3 hours. And then on the Eid day and on my birthday to my son's place. So that's all I have gone out. Otherwise, I have remained inside the house. There were 2 of us, my wife and myself, who was a professor in that university, who is retired now. So just the 2 of us, and we have never got time together because both are professionals. So we did our own jobs. But now this gives us an opportunity to be together for a long time. But maybe it's going to be too long, I don't know. But personally, I was very an epitome, if you like, of a person who lives a very regular life. I used to sleep at 11:30 for 6 hours or 7 hours, then got up the whole day, work, and I could move from one thing to the other very smoothly without taking any baggage from the first one. I could give decisions on, say, education now and perhaps employment in the afternoon and at night on environment. So it never bothered me. I had no tensions. Those who worked with me, they know I had no tension, no stresses, nothing. So this is the way I lived. And when I got confined, first few days, I was so bored, absolutely bored, because I was an outgoing person, attending meetings, going to places. I used to visit the villages a lot, about 10 to 12 days. I spent before COVID in rural areas to understand how people live so that we can design something which will be useful for them. But now I'm confined here. First, about 2 weeks, I couldn't even read, let alone writing anything. Then I told myself, no, I have to leave and do something. So I started reading and writing. So over this period, I have written newspaper articles, of course, not very serious research articles that you can't. I have written about last one together, 24 articles. It's not too bad, I suppose. Given numerous interviews to televisions and newspapers. And over the last 3 weeks, I have been attending webinars at the rate of about 2 a day. Today I have this one, and then I'll have another one in the afternoon at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow also I have almost every day that there are webinars that are available. So everything is regular, but not like before. The one problem I'm facing, maybe anyone can advise me, the regularity of my sleep has gone very irregular. Now I can't sleep for more than 2 or 3 hours. I have tried going to bed at 10 o'clock, at 11 o'clock, at 1 o'clock. After 2-3 hours I get up. And then I cannot sleep again. That's the main problem. So I was trying to cope with that while continuing my writing and reading. Then in the afternoon, late afternoon, I started feeling very sleepy and then fell asleep. I never slept. For the past 50 years, I remember I never slept during the day. So I slept for 3 or 4 days. And then I felt very bad afterwards. When I got up, it was a real bad situation. So I have been advised, and I have been thinking also, that not to sleep during the day and try to sleep in the morning if possible, and teach the body to continue sleep. But it's not easy. It's easy to give advice, but it's not easy to follow. And for a person of my age, maybe, and I have other complications. Now, today I got up exactly at 10 past 4 a.m. and I have not slept. But I think I'm functioning not too badly though. But I'm absolutely sure I'll fall asleep in the afternoon webinar or 6 o'clock unless I sleep in between. So this is something I'm trying to cope. I don't know how I can manage unless I go back to my routine of sleeping regularly. People used to envy me. My wife used to envy me and others who knew that I go to bed and I sleep within a few minutes. And it is at a stretch for 6-7 hours. That has been disturbed very much. But I hope to overcome. But some of the things I just mentioned, I'll not go into details. One of the things I liked, I think the problems are not problems, there are opportunities also. And opportunities are not always opportunities unless there are facilities to take advantage of the opportunities. So you have to find your own way through the jungle of problems and opportunities. You have to pick the right ones and then solve them if it is a problem, and if it is an opportunity, take advantage of it. It's not easy to do. I have done it all my life, so I have had no problems. I could, as I said, move from subject to subject. I work on many different subjects, so subject to subject without any baggage from the first one. Even now, that's not a problem. In the afternoon, it's completely something else. It's employment. So there will be different thing, and I think I'll be meaningfully making few remarks on that. And that's one of my areas, so there's no problem. So this is one of the things. The other thing I think I like is the too much news being provided, negative news being provided by even newspapers, even televisions and social media. That is creating problems for many people. And you are confused because different sources are giving you different information. Even WHO is saying something today and something a few days later. They said it doesn't float. Now they're saying this virus floats for 8 hours or something. Of course, nobody knew about it, so everybody was learning, researching and learning. Still, they should be careful before making an announcement saying it does not do that, and then come back and say, no, it does do this. So this kind of information puts you in a difficult situation. Now, when we were told that it does not float, so we were happy to go out maybe. I didn't go out, but people went out with masks and so on. And, okay, it doesn't float, so it doesn't matter, I can take off my mask. But now they're saying it floats. So they say, oh, it may come through your window also, since it floats. So if you keep your door open, it may it may come into the house. So this is one thing I think. And one other thing is, I think this is at this time when you are confined, act and react. That's one thing has been said. Either act or you react to something. I have never reacted to anything in my life. I try to act always. If somebody say, I've never ever given an interview to media when the question is about somebody else. Issue, yes, but not personality. If anybody asked me, Mr. So-and-so, a huge person or whatever, very important person said this, what is your comment? I said, nonsense. I am not going to answer this. If you think I have something to say, then you ask me the question. You go and ask him what he said. I don't want to comment on personalities. That saves you a lot of problems, actually. If you concentrate on issues rather than individuals. So on issues, you may contradict anybody. You give your views on the particular issue. But who said what, and you say what on who said what, that complicates the situation and does not solve the problem. So I think reaction is something that probably should be avoided, and you act on your own. About media, government, and doctors helping, I think they are all important. Media should be more positive, but I'm told often that people don't read positive news. Manush খায় না, পাঠক খায় না. Once I spoke for half an hour, and towards the end, I made few negative comments. The next day, one of the important newspapers reported on the last 2 points that I made, and not a word about what I said for the other 28 minutes. So I asked them why. They told me, Patok Khaina. He does not like it. So negative. Therefore, our mentality is also that. A positive news we would not read. It is something negative, something saucy, something that about somebody else, and so it's a whole society. So we can't blame a particular part of the society for doing what they're doing, because the whole society is attuned to a system that's not very healthy. So we have to somehow find a way of getting out of that mode and into a social situation, social formation where we uphold the truth and respect human being, human dignity, and all of that. I think that was the last point that I wanted to make. Oh, the other last thing is think positive. I think that somebody mentioned, I don't know who did. Think positive, I think, is extremely important. So if we think positive, I think we'll be able to overcome this. And I hope to overcome my own personal problem of sleep disorder. Soon, I have been advised, and my own thinking is also there. So I'm not going to sleep during the daytime. Today, probably I'll have to, because at 6 o'clock I'm speaking again. And if I don't sleep, I don't think I can speak at that. Now I can. So maybe all of you also have certain problems, but the advice that all of you have given culminates into that we should be able to manage our own affairs. I think that's it. So under the circumstances, maybe it's more difficult than normal, but we should prepare ourselves for the new normal also. The new normal, we don't know exactly how it will be, but there is the new normal. So we'll have to read through that situation and recover from the now sliding downwards slide of the economy and social activities, even medical and everything else. So I wish you all the best of everything, and Thank you. Thank you, Mahmood.
Thank you, sir, for an excellent discussion. We always learn from you thought-provoking discussion. I want to thank all the dignitaries for their presentation as well as stay here, because without them we cannot make the program successful. So I want to thank my two colleagues and also thank you for under your constant guidance we are working, and we want to make the Dhaka School of Economics under your able leadership, DSCN, a proud institute of Bangladesh. All the best for everyone. Remain safe. Take care. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Everyone.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Thank you সবার জন্য অনেক শুভেচ্ছা।
প্রফেসর ভোলানাথ দত্ত বাবু জয়েন করছিলেন, তাকে অনেক ধন্যবাদ, এবং হেলাল স্যারও ছিলেন।
হ্যাঁ দেখলাম, হেলালকে দেখলাম আমি এখানে।
হ্যাঁ, এবং প্রফেসর ভোলানাথ দাও ছিলেন আজকে, আমার খুব খুশি। তো আইরিন ম্যাডাম, আপনার জার্নালের কথা শুনলাম, তো এটা আমরা দিয়ে দেবো, আপনি যদি একটু ইয়েটা দেন আর কি আমাদের ফেসবুক। এন্ড আই উড লাইক টু থ্যাংক Mr. Verma specially, because he did not only present an excellent paper like you, but also arrange another guest speaker, and she was also an excellent, but due to technical problem she left out. But as long as she said, she was very excellent, and we learned a lot of things from her. So I would like to thank Dr. Shainudjaman, Professor Dr. Abu Said Khan, and Irene Madam, my colleague, and also Dr. Firoz Ahmed Khan, eminent physician, and my another colleague, Dr. Subroto Chattopadhyay. And I also miss our Professor Dr. Mohammad Bunur Islam sir, because he was joined with us, but technically he left it, technical reason. And also nicely spoken by Mohammad Sajjad Hussain, Mohammad Anisur Rahman, and also I always told about Mr. Madhav Verma. He was very helpful to us, and I would like to request others to provide their PPT slides so that we can keep it in our Facebook, as well as I would like to request all to send their article on the basis of this discussion, APS style, 30th July, so that we can process for a book. All the best wishes. And madam, did you like to say something about your journal?
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you for giving me the floor. Yes, it is the journal of IBM, Jahangirnagar University, and this is not Scoopus journal, but we follow the 2 peer review, blind peer review, and we are trying and maintaining the quality, high quality. And I'm giving you one example. For the last few years, sometimes our internal researchers sometimes not getting the chance to publish their paper because we are totally going by the blind peer review. Okay, so I have given you the link, so anyone can give their article, submit their article to our journal, and the last date of submission is 20th August. This is the every year we publish one journal. We're supposed to publish in June, but because of this different situation we are passing, so we are hopefully that we'll publish within December of this year. Okay, thank you.
Welcome, madam. Sarah madam and Rehana madam, please, if you have any comment, please. And Dr. Mohammad Shahiduzzaman, yes, please. Would you like to say something, Sarah madam?
Sir, thanks to all. We have already, in the discussion, we have known about the stress, about the mental well-being, the sources and causes of the stress, and the causes of depression, and Mr. Verma has shared a model CPS. Dr. Irene Madam has shared the research findings, and our honorable chief guest has shared his personal life. So all of this, we hope, will help us to combat with our personal problems also. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Mrs. Rana Parvin, would you like to share anything?
Sir, thank you for arranging this type of platform for us, and we learn many things about stress relief strategies, techniques, and it will work. It will work in our life. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. We would like to arrange another program on 15th August because we know that it is a black day for our Bengali society, Bangladesh. That day we will very unfortunate to lose our great leader, our political Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and his family. So we will arrange another program, but another one will be arranged on that will be very important. I would like to request everyone that after that 15th, we would like to arrange another similar type of seminar on 21st August. And I am in search of the idea. What will be the new normal life will be? Who will do the research work? Irene Madam, will you take the initiative to do the research work? Or Madhav Verma, will you take the research work? Or Abdullah Musaid Khilmi? Who will take the initiative to do the research? On 21st August, on new life normal during the Madhav Verma, you are Mr. Madhav Verma, you are the part of our Entrepreneurial Economics Club. Next time, we will send you our life membership, honorary life membership. Moderator is here. Mrs. Anna Parvin is the moderator of the club. So, Irene Madam and Madhav Verma, Mr. Madhav Verma will be our honorary life member. Definitely, Professor Abdullah Bhana will also be there. So, who will take the initiative? Madam, will you take the initiative?
এত সহজে তো হ্যাঁ মানে if we go for the research work it takes time. Yeah.
21st actually 21st August.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, madam. I would like to also send invitation to Madhav Verma early. And also thanks to Mr. Mohammad Shainujaman and Mr. Anisur Rahman. I hope we'll see Mr. Anisur Rahman with a short time as a professor of Gopalganj. Best of luck, everyone. Remain safe. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
Thank you once again. It's a great pleasure to be part of this program. Nice to see you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Till then, goodbye.
Yes, sir. Good.
Thank you, sir.
See you
Thank you.
again.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.